Welcome to my channel. The soft glow of streetlights spilled through the curtains, illuminating the small bedroom in muted gold. Inside, a world existed that no one outside these walls could ever imagine. Every detail mattered: the choice of shoes, the angle of the dress, the subtle shimmer of makeup, each element a tool in a delicate experiment that balanced desire, identity, and risk. Alex stared at the mirror, heart hammering with anticipation. Tonight wasn't just another casual evening. It was a calculated step into a persona carefully constructed, rehearsed, and protected. For months, the transformation had been a secret, an intimate escape, a thrilling play with identity that had existed only behind closed doors. No one knew, no one had seen. Until now, the night of reckoning. The crush, the one whose smile could make a heart skip, whose laughter echoed in memories long after it had faded, had unknowingly become the catalyst. A simple dare, a casual remark from friends, and suddenly everything Alex had kept hidden was at risk of exposure. Pretending had been exhilarating, liberating, but tonight, it carried stakes higher than ever. Hands trembled slightly as they adjusted the dress, smoothing the fabric over the shoulders, straightening the hemline. Every brushstroke of makeup, every swipe of lipstick was a delicate ritual, a negotiation between confidence and vulnerability. The reflection staring back wasn't merely cosmetic. It was a living embodiment of boldness, fragility, and daring all at once. Fear mingled with excitement. The thrill had always been private, contained within four walls, but tonight, the boundaries blurred. A message from the crush earlier had sparked a chain of events no one could have predicted. Could the secret survive the night? Could the carefully maintained illusion hold under scrutiny, curiosity, and the accidental discovery that now seemed inevitable? The room seemed charged, every object, a pair of heels, a flowing scarf, a stray strand of hair, part of a delicate ecosystem of preparation. Even the smallest movement, the slightest sound, could tip the balance. Every heartbeat reminded Alex of the fragility of pretending, of the razor's edge between thrill and disaster. Outside, the city hummed with life, oblivious to the personal storm brewing in the quiet room. Every distant horn, every muffled laugh, every step on the pavement carried a subtle reminder. The outside world was unpredictable, and tonight, it would collide with the secret kept so carefully. A final glance in the mirror confirmed the duality: confidence woven with anxiety, daring fused with vulnerability. The persona was ready, but the question remained: could pretending survive the moment of discovery? And when it didn't? What would happen when the crush saw everything? The quiet of the bedroom was almost deafening. Every sound, the hum of the heater, the distant rumble of traffic, even the faint buzz of a phone, seemed magnified, reminding Alex of the stakes at hand. Tonight, the experiment would extend beyond the safety of solitude. Tonight, the persona carefully cultivated in private would meet the unpredictable reality of the outside world, and the eyes of the crush. Every movement was deliberate. Heels were slid on with precision, the sound of the click sharp against the wooden floor, a reminder of presence and poise. The dress, sleek, shimmering, tailored to accentuate form, was smoothed into place, folds adjusted, hemline straightened. Each detail mattered, because tonight visibility was as much a weapon as a risk. Hair fell into place like liquid silk, framing a face that was both bold and delicate. Makeup enhanced every contour, highlighting eyes that carried curiosity, lips that carried charm, and a subtle blush that betrayed the undercurrent of anxiety. It was more than appearance. It was a shield, a persona, a daring declaration that Alex was ready to step fully into a new identity. The reflection in the mirror was mesmerizing. Confidence radiated, yet vulnerability lingered in the subtle tremor of hands, the catch of breath. Pretending had always been exhilarating, a secret indulgence. But now, with the possibility of being seen, the thrill mingled with fear, creating a tension that tightened muscles, quickened heartbeats, and sharpened every sense. A message notification on the phone made Alex freeze momentarily. It was from the crush. "Are you coming tonight?" Simple words, yet loaded with implications. The casual text carried the weight of potential exposure, of judgment, of revelation. Every instinct screamed caution, but the persona demanded action, demanded visibility, demanded the courage to face what had been hidden for so long. The city beyond the window seemed both inviting and threatening. Lights twinkled, shadows shifted, and distant voices carried hints of unpredictability. The outside world was no longer abstract. It was immediate, dynamic, and dangerously real. Every step outside would be a negotiation, between boldness and concealment, thrill and fear, admiration and judgment. Movement practice followed, a walk around the room, each step measured, heels clicking with authority, hips swaying naturally, arms floating gracefully. The persona needed more than clothes. It needed embodiment, poise, presence. Every gesture was rehearsed, but the mind remained alert to unpredictability. A passerby could glance, a shadow could shift, a single misstep could shatter months of careful preparation. Breath deepened. Every sound from the hallway, every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of light reminded Alex that the secret life was about to intersect with reality. The crush, unknowingly central to this unfolding drama, could tip the balance in either direction. Admiration, curiosity, or exposure. And that uncertainty made every movement electric, every heartbeat louder, every reflection in the mirror sharper. Finally, a glance at the outfit one last time confirmed readiness. Confidence and vulnerability, thrill and fear, boldness and secrecy. All coalesced into a single poised figure standing before the door. The threshold awaited. Beyond it, the world was alive, unpredictable, and ready to challenge the carefully maintained illusion. And as the hand reached for the doorknob, every nerve tingled with anticipation. The experiment, the pretending, the risk, all about to collide with reality. The cafe was warm, bustling softly with conversations and the faint clatter of cups. Outside, the night had deepened, lights reflecting off the wet streets like scattered diamonds. Inside, every movement felt amplified, the shuffle of chairs, the hum of conversation, the soft jazz drifting from the speakers, all underscored the tension building in Alex's chest. Spotting the crush across the room sent a jolt of adrenaline through every nerve. Their presence was magnetic, effortless, completely unaware of the secret world Alex had carried alone for so long. A casual glance, a smile, the tilt of a head, all of it seemed magnified under the spotlight of this moment. Heart raced, palms damp, every instinct oscillating between retreat and bold engagement. Stepping forward required a negotiation with every fear. The heels clicked against the polished floor, echoing in the quiet corners of the cafe. The dress swayed naturally, cape, previously hidden, tucked carefully to avoid attention. Each motion was a performance, balancing visibility with caution. Every breath measured, every step intentional, because tonight, pretending was no longer confined to solitude. It was public, vulnerable, and on the verge of exposure. The crush looked up suddenly, eyes widening ever so slightly. "Wow, you look different," they said, voice light but curious. Alex froze momentarily, the carefully maintained persona teetering between charm and panic. Was the secret safe? Could the reaction be admiration, or suspicion? The tension was palpable, every second stretching long and taut. A nervous laugh escaped, a subtle gesture to ease the moment, but inside, a storm raged. Pretending had always been exhilarating, but now, the stakes were higher. Any slip, a faltering step, a trembling voice, a misaligned hair strand, could unravel the carefully constructed identity. And with the crush so close, watching, unaware yet attuned, the thrill was intertwined with raw, unrelenting fear. Conversation began, cautious yet natural. Every word, every gesture, was a tightrope walk between authenticity and illusion. The crush's smile seemed genuine, but Alex couldn't ignore the nagging doubt. How long before they saw through the performance? The internal conflict intensified, blending excitement, anxiety, and longing. Each sentence exchanged was layered with hidden meaning, every laugh a fragile bridge between reality and pretense. A sudden spill from a passing waiter jolted Alex, a minor stumble but enough to catch the crush's attention. Eyes widened, hand reached instinctively, and the persona wavered. Was it relief or recognition in their expression? Alex couldn't tell, but the heartbeat skyrocketed. The thrill of near exposure made every glance, every subtle movement, charged with intensity. Outside, the city continued its quiet hum, oblivious to the personal drama unfolding within the cozy cafe. Yet every distant sound, every flicker of neon through the window, every shadow passing by, amplified the tension. Alex's secret life had crossed the threshold into public scrutiny, and the delicate balance of pretending and revelation teetered dangerously. And then, in a fleeting instant, a subtle comment from the crush hinted at awareness. innocent, casual, yet piercing. I've always wondered, what's it really like for you? The words carried weight, curiosity, and the possibility of discovery. Every nerve fired in response. The moment crystallized. The persona had to hold, the secret had to survive, and yet the desire to reveal, to be truly seen, pulsed stronger than ever. The encounter stretched seconds into eternity, a delicate dance of appearance, perception, and internal turmoil. Each smile, each gesture, each whispered laugh balanced the thrill of connection against the peril of exposure. The cafe had become a stage, the crush an unwitting participant in a drama built on secrecy, courage, and the intoxicating risk of pretending. As the conversation continued, the boundary between reality and performance blurred. Alex's mind raced. Should the truth come out? Could the secret survive intact? Was pretending still a refuge, or had it become a risk too powerful to contain? The questions lingered like smoke in the air, unanswered, unresolved, electrifying. The final moment of the evening approached. A small gesture, a lingering glance, the soft brush of hands against a cup. The crush looked thoughtful, curious, and something unspoken flickered in their eyes. And then, just as the tension reached a peak, a friend of the crush appeared, conversation shifted, the moment broke, leaving Alex standing, heart racing, breath caught between exhilaration and dread. The secret had survived this encounter, but barely. The thrill of pretending, the intoxicating blend of exposure and concealment, had escalated to a fever pitch. And in that charged space between relief and fear, one truth became undeniable. Living a double life so close to being discovered was no longer sustainable. Something had to give. The warm hum of the cafe suddenly felt oppressive. Every distant laugh, every clink of a cup, every shuffle of a chair became magnified, like a drumbeat counting down to exposure. Alex's hands gripped the edge of the table, the smooth wood grounding yet trembling beneath tense fingers. The crush was watching, eyes sharper now, more focused, scanning subtle gestures, noticing details Alex had tried to conceal. A careless laugh from a nearby table made Alex flinch. The persona wavered, a flicker of doubt, a slip of poise. And in that instant, a strand of wig shifted, brushing the cheek in an almost imperceptible betrayal. Heart hammered, breath caught, but the crush only raised an eyebrow, curiosity flickering. That slight glance was enough to ignite panic and thrill simultaneously. "You're different tonight," the crush said softly, voice teasing but edged with intrigue. Alex's pulse jumped, each word carried weight, a subtle acknowledgement of something hidden, something daring. Every instinct screamed to retreat, yet pride and desire demanded presence. To falter now would not only shatter the persona, it could undo months of carefully guarded secrecy. Movement became a negotiation. Hands smoothed the dress, subtly adjusted the collar, shifted the posture to mask tremors. Every small gesture was an effort to appear calm, poised, confident, while internally, the storm raged. Adrenaline surged, mixing fear with exhilaration, the intoxicating tension of being so close to exposure. A sudden comment from the crush, casual but loaded, made Alex freeze. "I've always wondered what it's like to really be yourself around me." The words pierced the air, ambiguous and challenging. Was it curiosity? Insight? Suspicion? Every neuron fired, weighing response against risk. Speak, and the secret might unravel. Remain silent, and the tension would only grow. Outside, neon lights reflected in the cafe windows, painting fractured images of confidence and vulnerability. Each reflection reminded Alex of duality, the persona crafted with care, and the fragile reality of fear beneath. The city beyond seemed to lean in, watching, echoing the heartbeat that pounded against ribs like a warning drum. Then, a near catastrophe, a tray from a waiter jostled, clinking glasses and plates. The sudden noise startled Alex, heel catching slightly on the chair leg, the cape, or skirt, shifting dangerously. Time slowed, every heartbeat audible, every breath a potential giveaway. The crush's gaze sharpened, focus intensifying. For a heartbeat, the secret hovered on the brink of revelation, a fragile thread between thrill and disaster. Eyes locked, silence stretched, the world narrowing to the charged space between the two. The persona had to hold, the illusion maintained, yet internal panic bubbled. Could pretending survive this scrutiny? Could confidence mask the tremors, the fear, the hidden truth? Every second was a battle of presence against exposure, desire against dread. A small gesture, a sip of coffee, a subtle laugh, restored partial composure, but the adrenaline didn't subside. The Crush tilted their head slightly, expression unreadable, voice soft yet loaded. "I feel like you're hiding something." The words weren't accusation, but implication, heavy and dangerous. Alex's chest tightened, the balance of secrecy was trembling, threatening collapse. Every nerve, every sense heightened. The cafe's ambience, the distant music, the shifting shadows, the faint chatter, merged with internal tension, amplifying fear and exhilaration alike. The persona needed to remain intact, to navigate this storm of scrutiny, yet the Crush's insight, intentional or not, drew the invisible curtain back ever so slightly. The moment crystallized into charged uncertainty. Exposure was close, imminent, and irresistible. The persona teetered on the edge: maintain the act, risk detection, or yield to the tension and reveal the truth. Outside, the city pulsed indifferently. Inside, the world contracted into a charged, electric arena where identity, desire, and secrecy collided in one unbearable instant. The cafe seemed to shrink, each table and chair folding inward, spotlighting Alex and the Crush in a private arena. Every distant sound, the clatter of a cup, a soft laugh from a nearby patron, even the faint hiss of the coffee machine, felt magnified, echoing against the tension coiling in the chest. "You've been different lately," the Crush said again, leaning slightly forward, eyes sharp, curiosity laced with an almost imperceptible challenge. Alex's heart skipped, palms damp. Every instinct screamed alarm, yet the persona demanded presence, poise, charm, daring. A sudden shift in posture caused the cape to brush against the chair, a subtle motion that sent a thrill through the nerves. The Crush's gaze flickered down, noticing the movement, and for a heartbeat, panic threatened to override every carefully rehearsed gesture. Could months of secret pretending collapse in a single glance? Alex forced a smile, a soft laugh escaping lips that trembled slightly. "I guess I've been experimenting," came the evasive response. The words danced on the edge of truth, teasing revelation while maintaining illusion. But the Crush's expression didn't change, eyes narrowing in a mix of amusement and perception, sensing something deeper, something hidden. The internal storm intensified. Adrenaline surged, breath quickened, and every detail, the weight of the heels, the sway of the dress, the subtle shimmer of makeup, became a battlefield between boldness and fear. The Crush leaned closer, voice lowering. "I feel like you're hiding something from me." "What is it?" Time seemed to freeze. The persona teetered on the brink. Exposure was a heartbeat away. The reflection in the window opposite doubled the tension, one self-confident and dazzling, the other vulnerable and fragile, both poised between revelation and concealment. Every movement, every breath, every flicker of emotion was magnified, scrutinized. Then, a sudden interruption. A friend of the Crush arrived, laughter ringing, conversation spilling over. The moment fractured, the immediate threat of exposure temporarily diffused, yet the suspense didn't dissipate. It had only grown, simmering beneath the surface, a reminder that the secret was perilously close to discovery. Alex exhaled, small relief mingling with lingering adrenaline. The persona had survived the confrontation, for now, but the balance was delicate, tenuous. The Crush's curiosity had been piqued, subtle recognition hinted at awareness, and the risk of exposure lingered like a shadow over every remaining interaction. As the cafe lights reflected off puddles outside and neon flickered in distant windows, the duality of existence became painfully clear. Pretending was no longer safe, hidden. It had become a dangerous game with someone whose perception was keen, whose awareness threatened to unravel the carefully crafted illusion. The night ended with the Crush offering a lingering smile, eyes glinting with curiosity and something unspoken. Alex's heart pounded, knowing the secret had survived, but only barely. Outside, the city pulsed with life, oblivious to the delicate drama that had unfolded within the small cafe. The cafe had quieted as closing time approached, leaving Alex and the Crush in a bubble of tense, electrified stillness. Each breath felt heavy, every heartbeat thundered in the chest, echoing in the ears like a warning drum. The persona, perfected through months of private rehearsal, now faced its greatest test, surviving the scrutiny of someone who mattered more than anyone else. "You know, I feel like you've been pretending," the Crush said softly, leaning slightly forward, voice low but charged with curiosity. Alex froze, a shiver running down the spine. Pretending, the secret carefully guarded, had been exposed in an instant, not fully revealed, yet dangerously close to unraveling. Every instinct screamed retreat, concealment, denial. But the thrill of being observed, the intoxicating pulse of adrenaline, made the body tense with a different kind of excitement. Could the truth be contained? Could the act survive this level of scrutiny? Each second stretched, suspended in electric tension, as if the universe itself held its breath. A strand of hair shifted, a subtle misalignment in the outfit hinted at imperfection, and the crusher's eyes caught it. Just a flicker, a shadow of recognition. Alex's chest tightened. The secret was no longer fully hidden. Every movement, every gesture became a negotiation with fate. One wrong glance and everything could collapse. Outside, neon lights flickered against rain-slicked streets, casting fragmented reflections through the cafe windows. In those reflections, Alex saw two selves: the confident, dazzling persona daring to face exposure, and the vulnerable, trembling identity that had existed in shadows for so long. The duality was palpable, every heartbeat a drumbeat of suspense. Then came a soft laugh from the crush, warm yet probing, carrying a question without words. "Do I know your secret?" The ambiguity was maddening. Eyes met, tension crackling like static electricity. The secret hovered on the edge of revelation, the gap between pretend and reality razor-thin. Alex's hand brushed the edge of the table, fingers trembling, adjusting a sleeve or skirt almost unconsciously. Every nerve screamed the stakes: exposure, humiliation, or perhaps understanding. The persona had survived confrontation, but the game had changed. Now curiosity and awareness had entered the mix, unpredictable and potent. A sudden ping from the phone on the table made Alex jump, heart leaping. The crusher's glance flicked toward it, subtle but deliberate. Panic surged. Would a message, a notification, a careless move betray the truth? The persona wavered, balancing on the precipice between control and chaos, confidence and fear. Then, as if orchestrated by fate itself, the lights dimmed slightly, shadows stretching across the room. The crush leaned closer, a subtle smile playing at the lips, eyes bright with intrigue and something unspoken. Alex realized, with a thrill that mixed dread and exhilaration, that this moment was a turning point. The secret could survive, or it could be fully revealed in the next heartbeat. The scene froze in tension, every motion paused in the charged space between exposure and concealment. Alex's heart pounded like a drum, breath shallow, eyes locked on the crush, who now seemed aware of more than words could convey. The cafe, the night, the persona, all suspended on a knife edge. And in that breathless instant, the story cut to black. Would the crush confront the secret? Would Alex reveal everything, or retreat into shadow once more? The suspense lingered, unresolved, leaving every heartbeat, glance, and shadow electric with anticipation.